Welcome back to another episode of Alestletics. Sam Mirren and Audrey joining you here in studio, and we're back after a 2-week hiatus here on our sports podcast. Audrey, how was your spring break?
My spring break was great. I went to Nashville.
You lucky dog.
Where'd you go, Sam?
Nowhere.
Edwardsville.
Yeah, probably more than I wanted to. Yeah. How was Nashville?
It was fun.
I bet. You want to share any stories?
No, not particularly.
Well, then we'll just leave it at that. Our spring break was great. Wink, wink. Nod, nod. Well,
You're so cringe.
Yeah, it's a little cringe. But
Cut that out.
You know what's really cringe? SIUE. No, I'm just kidding. The March Madness bracket has been going on. SIUE baseball and softball has really kicked off, and boy howdy, it's been a lot going on over there. Let's talk about SIUE baseball, Audrey. What were your thoughts going into the season for SIUE baseball?
Well, they already had a phenomenal season last year. I think they ended up second in the OVC.
Yes.
And then this season they were picked as the OVC favorite, preseason favorite. So there's a lot of expectations for baseball going into the season.
Yeah, and I think rightfully so. They had a good year last year. Didn't have great playoffs, and that was we'll touch on that. But this year, a lot of, like you said, expectations, finding groove, and I think last season overall record, not just conference play, they were under a 500 record, so they had more losses than wins. However, they played some very good opponents, and again, this year they had the same. Well, let's see. How do you even transition into this? I don't know. OVC first pitch happened last weekend, so this is about a week ago from today. They started the OVC conference play on Friday, and they played the lovely Morehead State University. At Morehead State University, not a top-rated team. They were last in the OVC last year. They've had some struggles over the past few years, and wow, did it show in this first series against the SIUE Cougars. Audrey, why don't you go ahead and read the records from last weekend?
So on Friday, SIUE won 23-8.
In 7 innings.
In 7 innings, mind you. Mac Mitchell had 5 runs, and Joshua Hader had 6 RBIs.
Yeah, so, I'm not going to lie to you. I was making the stats for this, and I was sitting and I'm looking at these stat sheets, and how do you even pick? How do you even pick one person to spotlight? Because it's just everyone's stats are insane.
It's a crazy offensive team.
Well, and then we get to Saturday, and it's a little more normal. I hate to say the word normal because it's not, because a 7-2 victory for the Cougars. So back-to-back wins, really good job there for the SIUE coaching staff, and the pitching rotation's really good. Obviously, only 2 runs allowed. Spencer Stearns, 7 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, and only 2 runs earned. So that's really good. 7 innings is great for your starting pitcher. And then, well, Audrey, what happened on Sunday?
Sunday, we had a 28-23 victory with 15 pitchers.
15. No, that's right.
Why?
Hold on. Hit the double space to your left side of your screen. Replay that 10 seconds ago. That's right. 15 pitchers. 8 for Morehead State University, 7 for SIUE. I don't even know. I was some of these guys didn't even pitch for a full inning.
That's what an odd choice from both teams. Everybody was just let's just see what they do.
Not even that. It's just it was the scoring was so good.
Yeah.
That they're just oh, you're done. You're done. You get out. Then it's just crazy. Tarek Thompson Allen and Chase Bloomer both led the team with 5 runs each, and Bloomer had 6 runners batted in. I just can't even. I can't even process this crazy statistical number. And there's more fun facts to go with it. On Sunday, that same day where the Cougars and Morehead State University put up so many runs, there was 5 OVC games, Audrey, 5 of them. And that's 10 teams, if you can't do that math. 10 total teams playing. 111 runs. 111 were scored in total between all 10 teams. And nearly 46% of those runs were between the Eagles and the Cougars at Morehead State University. Yeah. I don't know about that one.
51 out of 111 runs, Sam.
Yeah. That's just nuts. Like, I can't even, and that's in one game.
Yeah.
The weekend series, SIUE put up 58 runs themselves. Just the Cougars put up 58 runs, which, by the way, last season the Cougars had 201 total in conference play. That means for whatever, I think it's 15. I don't even remember the exact total of games that they play, but more than 10. It's more than 10. They put up 201 runs, 58 runs just in the first weekend. That is just bonkers. So that's 29%. Like, if their goal is like, hey, let's score more runs than we got last year. Well, in the first weekend, they're 29% of the way there. Like, that's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I can't get over that. That's just impressive baseball offensively. I think if you're the Cougars, you, like, honestly have to ask, what can we do to improve the defense?
Yeah.
you know, like, imagine if these were like 23-0, 7-0, 28-0. Like, that would just be crazy. I would be terrified to play SIUE because this just doesn't seem real. I mean, maybe agree or disagree. I don't know.
Something else I want to mention is Tarek Thompson-Allen, which we briefly mentioned earlier. He actually won the National Baseball Writers Association National Co-Hitter of the Week Award, which is the first ever for SIUE.
Well, makes sense. Adds up. I mean, if they're going to do a weekend to do it, hand it out to the Cougars. Maybe this week is a good week. I don't know. Baseball is terrifying. And I know softball, don't have them in our note sheet for today. They were 6-0 going into their series against EIU and unfortunately dropped all three.
Yeah.
And EIU, very good team. SIUE softball, a bit younger this year, so you're probably going to have those ebbs and flows a little more. But wow, baseball just knocked it literally out of the park.
Literally.
Like, I mean, I don't even know if it would be fun to be at the game, just watching all, like, it would just like, boom.
Oh, you would eat it up.
Oh, I would. But, like, imagine this game had to go on 4 hours. I mean, I can't even, like, the umpire's probably like, dude, someone catch the ball, you know, like, at some point, like.
Oh my God.
I don't know, but yeah, this is my obsession for, like.
What's your obsession with baseball? SIUE baseball.
SIUE baseball. Well, if you're interested in seeing the Cougars play again, their next series is against Tennessee Tech on Friday. Well, they'll have played yesterday. They'll play today at 2 p.m. and then tomorrow on Sunday as well. And then they'll head on to Southern Indiana right after that. So, and Tennessee Tech, I don't know. I mean, like, if I was them, I'd be kind of peeing my pants a little bit. You know, like, what? Did you say that team put up 58 runs last weekend?
Hopefully they can keep the momentum, though, and not let it get to their heads.
Absolutely.
Keep building from it.
But maybe your goal is Tennessee Tech is to only let, like, 25 runs.
Oh, my God.
You know, like, I don't know. But, yeah, so lots of scoring in baseball. And I think you're right, Audrey, though. You bring up a good point about not being arrogant and not letting these stats go to your head. I mean, it's a long season, and it's only just begun.
You literally just started.
So we'll see how SIUE baseball holds up if these offensive numbers continue. But speaking of that, we mentioned the playoffs. Last year they lost to both Lindenwood and EIU, and it just wasn't the results that they wanted. But we'll see. Maybe these scoring totals can change the waves a little bit. Next up, Audrey and I would love to talk about March Madness. It's been absolutely crazy this year. Audrey, what are your thoughts on the madness of March up to this point?
Well, I really wish SIUE were in it.
Oh, wow.
That's it. I'm just kidding.
That's all she has to say.
I'm just kidding. But I always love the environment that March Madness brings, and I love, like, the Instagram posts and you know, kind of, I love the community that it brings on a bigger level. Yeah, I really like the stories that get told behind the scenes. Yeah, that's what I like the little things that you never really get to hear about. And this is obvious. I think this part of the bracket will be done, what we have in front, by the time we're recording this. But there's a lot of really good teams remaining at this stage. There's Duke, St. John, Michigan State, UConn, Illinois, interestingly, playing Houston. Yeah. Well, that will probably have passed by the time this is out and live, but we're all rooting for Illinois, right? Yeah. Goodbye, Houston. Maybe. We'll see. Michigan, Tennessee is still in it. Iowa State is another one that's really interesting. So, obviously, some of these games will be resolved by then. But, really, some interesting storylines on my end was the 3 teams that I was really keeping an eye on. Well, I guess 4 teams, I should say. I have my eye on SIUE. I'll come back to them. Mizzou
epically failed.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not so hot.
We have to talk about this. Mizzou handed really a epic situation. They're playing Miami, Florida, which is a really good team. However, they're playing at Enterprise Center, which is in Missouri. They're playing in front of a St. Louis crowd that absolutely goes wild for them. I mean, other than SLU, Missouri's the next team that goes there and, like, wows. SIUE being there would have been cool, but, like, first of all, March Madness in St. Louis is a really neat honor for the city, but then Mizzou kind of flubbed it. They lost that game 80-66. There was no fight in that team. And I watched the game. I was like, wow, this is disappointing. Click off.
Literally in St. Louis, home base, just...
Yeah, flubbed. And it was really supposed to be a good game, supposedly. But obviously we also I was keeping an eye on our Ohio Valley Conference friends at Tennessee State. They lost to Iowa State 108-74. Iowa State, really a good team. That's I think a very good effort for a Tennessee State team that had a very good OVC season. I think we could all tip our hats to that. And then going back to SLU, interestingly, beat the number 8 Georgia 102-77. Very good scores. Found out that their coach re-signed with St. Louis, so no concerns there. That's good news for the Billikens. And then Robbie Avila had a really rough start against the Michigan team, the number 1 Michigan team, and kicked off the second half much better. However, they fell in round 2, 95-72. But, at least they keep their coach.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you can complain about a lot of things, but you can't complain about that. So... that's on the men's front. Obviously, the women's side, Western Illinois was the OVC representative in the women's March Madness bracket, and they lost 82-51 to North Carolina. But, again, some more good teams over there. North Carolina, interestingly, the only sports program they have right now that's holding them over their head of water, like, not terrible, is their women's basketball, and they've played UConn probably by this point, so interesting enough. But, Audrey, any other thoughts on the March Madness bracket? Or the women's bracket?
See, I don't keep up with the women.
Oh, dang.
See, I hate to do this to you, but...
I don't really either. The only thing I really followed was Western, because I want to actually talk about Western. I know SIUE didn't have, they made it to the playoffs, which I think is a success for the head coach, Sam Smith, and the Cougars team. But Western Illinois was dominant. They were dominant. Just go look up some of their stats. I don't have them in front of me, but they were really good. And a fun team to watch from what I saw, following their kind of social media and all that. I did see recently, I believe, going back to baseball, a lot of OVC success locally. Lindenwood recently beat Missouri by 7-2 in baseball, which is pretty impressive. So hats off to kind of the Ohio Valley Conference standing ground. I think one of the episodes I would like to maybe dive into between the two of us would be talking about the Ohio Valley Conference and kind of its status, especially with the leaving of Little Rock is coming. So we'll
get into that.
Yeah, that might be a summer episode when we all have more time and can maybe invite a guest or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting, and it's an interesting time of year with March Madness. I think the sports world always gets a little hotter with news, and I like what you mentioned. Maybe you have a specific story in mind, but with the individual stories of March Madness.
I mean, last year, when it was Houston versus the Cougars, the coaches knew each other.
Yeah,
and that's something that you didn't really. It's it was a big rivalry moment, not only between the teams, but also between the coaches, and so just things like that.
Yeah, and I can relate that to this year. Very similar story. It was between SLU and Michigan. When I was watching the game, they said that SLU's coach coached under the Michigan coach, and so he said that they would contact each other during the year, during this season, including. And trade play calls, so he would know what Michigan's plays were. The SLU head coach did, which is just really interesting. You can see at the beginning, Michigan really struggled with the Billikens until kind of that second half. But it's definitely, you're right. There's so much in depth, and what I really like, and we can talk about this too, is Rayshawn Taylor last year.
Yeah.
The spotlight on these individual athletes who, I hate to say it, they don't carry their team alone, but they put a lot of weight on their back. And they get that spotlight that they don't normally get, or maybe that they're just so used to by, our local media. So it was really cool to see, certain players like Robbie Avila get all this national attention, right? Rayshawn Taylor last year got really big national attention, which is really cool. And I think that's neat for the athletes. They're put on the big stage. and it's the moment before their career either ends or before they go on to the pros and are really exposed. But yeah, so I think that wraps up this week's episode of Alestletics. Obviously, don't forget to check out Alestle After Hours, which is out now at the same time. I had to think about it there for a moment. You can check out all of our social media. Don't forget to check out the Alestle, its current edition, which is online at alestlelive.com. You can also go to our Instagram, our YouTube channel. Alestle Live should be releasing here within a week or so. And you can check out a new episode of this podcast and our other podcast next week on Saturday. And we'll see you again then soon. Bye.